Hey dudes, it's PDubs, and on today's episode, we're going to be looking at a Sword Acrylic Topper made by Szabos Arcades. That's right, Joe Szabo is back at it again with another backlit dimensional acrylic topper. I previously reviewed the one he did for Terminator 2, and now we're going to look at this one for Dragon's Lair. Let's do a quick overview and check this bad boy out. As you can see here, when it comes to mounting this on your arcade cabinet, he does make these for original Dragon's Lair arcades, Arcade1Up Dragon's Lair, as well as this will also work on an iiRcade Dragon's Lair arcade cabinet. You just have that red strip of pretty heavy-duty 3M double adhesive tape, which you're going to peel to mount this. Taking a look here, this is a custom design. It's very unique. The sword itself is a separate layer. That's right, it's all contour cut, 3D looking, etc. And as you can zoom in on the artwork here, as you can see here, nobody does it better than Joe. I mean, seriously, this is absolutely incredible to look at. This camera doesn't do the artwork justice. Just like how, if any of you picked up that Terminator 2 one that I reviewed, I'm pretty sure the same feedback would apply here when you take a look at just how deep and in-depth Joe does with these. No time spared, coming up with a beautiful design with, look at the lighting on the sword, look at the glimmer effects, look at all the gold coins and everything, the skulls, everything just, it doesn't look cheap, man. Even see parts of the Dragon's Lair castle kind of faded into the background. This is really, really cool. And of course, it's a bent acrylic piece. You'll notice here that the way the sword is designed is when you light this up from behind, the sword itself isn't going to be lit, but all the fire and stuff around the sword. And when I show you that, it's going to look pretty cool. This is, of course, a bent acrylic thing. This is apparently a very, very hard thing to do. And the fact that Joe's mastered this skill is pretty cool. And you do get a pretty decent light bar on this unit compared to, some cheap $2 light strip off Amazon. This is a pretty high quality product overall. Now, when it comes to powering the light up strip, Joe will provide you this AC adapter power plug, and also it does have this little micro USB port. This is what you plug into the light strip. On either end of the light strip, there's a port to plug it in, and the best feature of all, of course, is the dimmer switch. That way you can adjust the brightness levels to whatever you feel comfortable with, depending on the lighting and look you want to have in your game room. Just like my previous review for the Terminator 2 topper, what we'll do here is we'll show you some light testing in a bright room as well as in a dark room. What we're doing is we're slowly going up and down the dimmer switch scale, adjusting the brightness level. Right now we're at max, and we're going to start bringing it down. That way you can kind of see how this would look at various settings in a brightly lit room. As you can see here, it looks pretty good in a brightly lit room. Probably wouldn't need it on maximum brightness in a brightly lit room. Probably would want to bring that down to about 50% or so in order to have the best looking image possible. Right here, we're going to do some light testing in a darker room. And as you can see here, this looks incredible. In a darker room on a lower setting, it really makes the orange and the flames pop surrounding the sword, as well as it really makes the gold shimmer and all that, and you can really kind of make out that reflection that Joe crafted into the sword artwork itself. As we kind of go up and down the scale here, you'll see, now we're off, now we're going to go back on, and we're going to slowly work our way back up and down. As you can see, if you're in your darker lit arcade and gaming room, this thing is going to actually look very, very cool sitting on top of your Dragon's Lair arcade machine, whichever style you have. Since I sold my iiRcade Dragon's Lair cabinet, I'm going to put this on top of my Arcade1Up Dragon's Lair cabinet. And obviously the first thing you want to do is dust off and clean off the very top of your cabinet. You could always use some rubbing alcohol as well and allow it to dry before mounting this marquee. And again, this is a very simple process. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to install this. Just peel off that red strip on the, double adhesive sticky tape that he's got on the bottom of this marquee. And once that's peeled, you can then line this up where you want it to go and go ahead and just press it down firmly on both ends, as well as down the middle of the strip as well behind the marquee. And this thing is going to stick on here and not fall off. If you're going to install this on an Arcade1Up Dragon's Lair arcade cabinet, this right here seems to be the perfect position for it in my opinion. It fits in exactly in this space right before the edges begin to move forward on the Arcade1Up original Dragon's Lair marquee design. And as you can see, looks pretty cool. Now, the sword itself, again, is a custom design by Joe over at Szabos Arcades. It is not an exact match to the sword itself you'll see on the Dragon's Lair artwork, Dragon's Lair game, etc. It's a pretty close match. It's one where if anyone looks at it, they're really not going to notice that it's not the exact same sword, but I understand why Joe did this in order to avoid any kind of copyright issues, things of that nature. Again, we are in a mostly bright lit room, and again, just for your guys' viewing pleasure and to formulate your own opinions, I'm moving that toggle switch up and down in a brightly lit room while mounted on the cabinet so you guys can see the various light settings and how this thing is going to look in your arcade and game rooms if it is a brightly lit room. Okay, let's flip the script. Now I now have the room fairly dark, pretty dark. I mean, most of our arcade and game rooms usually are dark. The only thing lit up are the arcade machines and usually whatever decorations and goofy lights we have around the game room. But this right here is going to give you a good idea as to how this is going to light up in a dark arcade room or dark game room when you go up and down and adjust the dimmer switch setting to whatever setting you feel most comfortable with. Personally, I think it looks fantastic. I mean, hell, right around there, right around, 25% in a dark room, it looks killer. And if you're a taller player, I don't think it's going to be, interfering and shining in your face too hard, things of that nature. Now, this product does retail for $110, guys, and I understand that that's a lot of money for an acrylic topper. But whenever it comes to Szabos Arcades, all I can tell you guys is the price is usually worth it. I myself have paid for just as many products from Joe Szabo as I've received from him for the purpose of review. This one he did send me for the purpose of making this review video. But I can tell you, if he didn't choose me to send me this for review, I would have ended up buying this one anyway, because I do buy a lot of his stuff all the time. I really, really love the quality of work he does. Another thing that customers need to be aware of is that when it comes to ordering from Szabos Arcades, he is a one-man shop that is in high demand. Very popular guy. He doesn't just make modding and arcade and graphic products for this home arcade space, but real arcades as well. He's a very popular guy in many circles. He's a very, very busy guy. He gets tons and tons of orders, so it does sometimes take anywhere from 1 to upwards of 3 months to get your stuff, but Joe is definitely not a scam artist. You will always end up getting your order, and many, many customers, including myself, upon receiving their orders, will tell you that it's usually worth the wait. I myself have waited 2 months in the past, guys, for stuff that I've paid for out of pocket to be shipped to me from Szabos Arcades, and once it shows up, usually the frustration of when's it gonna arrive disappears, because when it looks this damn good, you gotta love it. I personally think this is really great. If he didn't send it to me for the purpose of review, I would have dropped $110 and purchased this myself. And that's my honest opinion. But I want to know what you guys think. Give me your feedback, reactions below. If you enjoyed the review, give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, my dudes, thank you for subscribing.